Sweet picks. Sion. That big guy. Hi, I'm Blooded Maniac, and I'm about to tell you why Sion is so extremely fun. This series is dedicated to fun and unusual builds on champions who play and enjoy every day. Sion. One of my all-time favorite top laners. I know that many of you guys are thinking right now, but hey, wait a minute, Sion is shit! And my only response to that is nope. Sion has some great things to him, and few people see his greatness. As of writing this, Sion has only a 2.8 pick rate on lolking.net, but a 54% win rate. He is so extremely powerful when played correctly. You will be an unkillable wall of flesh that comes running into the enemy team and stun the ball for 5 years while your team do the rest. The amount of CC he brings is ridiculous, so he has great combo potential with, for example, Yasuo or Orianna. All of Sion's abilities has his unstoppable, devastating, or even eradicating feel to them. You truly feel like an unstoppable juggernaut when you use them, and these feels are all betrayed in the names and their visual style. For example, his Q, Devastating Smash. Sion winds up his axe to smash it into the ground, devastating effects. The longer you wind up, the longer the slow/knockup becomes and the more damage it does. The wind-up time can be quite long, and it can be quite tricky to rush out a quick knock-up instead of a slow, but if you look closely to the edge of the indicator, you'll be able to determine when the knock-up is ready. You can also watch Sion's animation. When he breaks his back, it's ready. His W, Soul Furnace. Oh look, a two-part ability. We all know how rare those are. For up to 6 seconds, Sion is shielded for a decent amount of damage based on his total health. Upon casting this ability again, the shield detonates, dealing damage around him based on the enemy's total health. The amount of shielding delivered from this is really good. It often delivers close to an extra 500 health if you build full tank. The passive is what makes Sion an exceptional tank. For every unit you kill, you gain extra health. 2 for smaller units and 5 for champions and large monsters. This in the end might give you close to an extra 800 health from passive alone. But the damage is pretty meh. Now, his E, Roar of the Slayer. Sion screams in a line in front of him, damaging and both slowing and removing 20% of their total armor. All non-epic monsters are pushed in the direction of the screen and applies the debuff and the damage to all enemies struck by the flying monster. Incredibly fun to last hit enemies with, but sadly it's been heavily nerfed since the release of the rework. It used to have mind-blowing damage, but fear not, I've managed to dig up some pre-nerf footage. Take a look. Now, the ability that is the hardest to maneuver in the entire game is A, Unstoppable Onslaught. Sion starts running in an increasingly fast pace and loses most of his steering control. If he crashes into an enemy champion, you knock them into the air and slows them. If you collide with a wall, you stop running and stun yourself for a brief moment. It's really hard to control the path of Sion when you use this. You better have a clear sight of the target, or hope for a miracle that you don't instantly stop when you hit a wall. In my opinion, this is Sion's best ability, but it's so hard to use correctly. It took me a really good while to manage to even use the basic wall drifting techniques. Wall drifting in very simple terms are when you aim Sion against a wall and you have your cursor in the opposite direction. This somehow makes it so Sion bounces off the wall. An incredibly risky but rewarding technique. And now, lastly, his passive, Glory in Death. Upon death, Sion is briefly reincarnated with full but rapidly decaying health. He gains 100% lifesteal and a constant 1.75 attack speed. He also deals 10% of the target's maximum health as extra damage on his auto attacks. All of Sion's abilities are replaced with Death Surge, which means he gains 50% bonus movement speed that decays over 1.5 seconds. This passive can be quite powerful if you manage to catch up with your opponents. You all of a sudden deal an incredible amount of damage even if you're a tank. This also makes him incredibly dangerous around any nexus, because if you kill him, all of a sudden he starts tearing through the nexus crazily fast and you'll need to kill him before he kills it. So split pushing with Sion is really potent. He's also incredibly safe, as he can just simply ult away and no one will be able to catch up with him. All of his abilities are really appropriately named. The animation, the sounds are extremely well made and makes it all come together. His Q truly gives the feel of incoming doom. His W, okay, this is pretty meh, the exception that confirms the rule really. His E makes him feel like this giant of a beast that can push away people with ease. His R truly makes him an unstoppable juggernaut, except when the small ledges in any wall. And his passive gives you the feel of this bloodthirsty beast that only hungers for the kill. When it comes to builds, you have a few options. You can build a plethora of different tank items or go into a more AD heavy build. If you decide to go full tank, your playstyle decides what you build. If you have mana problems that some Sion players have, you can either rush a Frozen Heart or a Frozen Mallet. The mana they supply and utility both brings is great. Choose either based on the opponent you're facing. The AoE damage Frozen Mallet brings really helps you last it and stack up your passive. If you're against an also popular AD carry top laner, then you might want to get a Frozen Heart instead. Good amount of armor and a good counter against AD carries. Warmog's armor is also a really good choice. It's just stupid. My preference is going full tank, being an unkillable juggernaut protecting all of your puny frail damage dealers in your team. But you might want to try out the AD heavier build. You'll become a giant threat due to being a natural tanky with your W passive, and the amount of damage you'll be able to spit out of your death is incredible. You'll wreak havoc among the enemy team, both as living and as dead. You'll basically be a AD Kaphus. Take these tips to heart, and stay bloody my friends.